Petra is the newest legend to be added into Brawlhalla, coming out tomorrow. So, you know, this video, by the time you see it, it might actually be outdated, and I'll have my first impressions already out. But regardless, with the little info that we have, I'm going to be analyzing her moveset, her stats, everything about her that we know so far. And, you know, she might be very strong, she might be very weak. Based on this trailer, she looks pretty sick. Shoutouts to Duke for making that trailer, I'm pretty sure he made it. Shoutouts to the BMG artist who made that splash art, that looks really sick. Let's take a look at it again with a little bit more info. That was the gauntlet, or the orb down sig. There's the gauntlet down sig. Here, coming up, will be the gauntlet end sig. You can see Diana's on the ground. It picks up grounded. More on that later. But that's a little info to know because it is an anti-air. Picking up on the ground is pretty important. Alright, moving on to the next clip. You can see that Diana kind of goes flying there. Either way, Bryn getting hit, that's the orb side sig. It's a little bit of a Kamehameha blast. There's a lot of DBZ influence based on these sigs, at least from what I can tell. There's the orb end sig. There's a little snippet of that on Twitter. And again, the orb down sig. We can see that it's probably pretty good as one of those edge covering moves. And, you know, it's got a big hitbox. But either way, we'll take a little sneak peek at some of these sigs. The gauntlet down sig is a little bit of a teleporting move. Pretty quick, pretty fast. There's the gauntlet side sig on hit. A lot of her moves have different on hit properties on the gauntlets. So there's the little reversal teleport. You can tell the gauntlet down sig. It teleports behind and then hits in the direction that you were originally facing. So that's something to note about that one. The orb end sig is an anti-air with a lot of active frames. So if you're trying to jump in, maybe Qatar dare, maybe unarmed dare, you got to be careful with that. There's the orb side sig, as you can see, as I mentioned before, little Kamehameha blast. It's active the whole way through. Again, we'll talk more about the sigs here. I wanted to slow down this clip because we can see that's the orb down sig. It actually blasted, like it had the explosion before it touched the ground. You can see here that the grounded explosion is a little bit different. So that's why I wanted to point that clip out on the GC. It actually expired before it touched the ground there, so that's something to note. Here's the gauntlet end sig, slowed down a little bit and in more close-up look. It actually seems very strong. Pretty quick. You can tell, despite this being slowed down, how fast Petra jumps up. It hits about 2 jump heights high, which is really impressive. That's like a Fate end sig, but it's on gauntlets. And as you know, gauntlets don't have the easiest time killing, especially with the recovery nerf. So hitting in this area, in my opinion, is very strong, especially since it hits grounded. It looks like a mega version of gauntlet sidelight. Here is the side sig. You can see her kind of charging up. Looks like Kaioken or something, which is pretty cool, and it stops off at that little point there. And here's the gauntlet down sig, the teleporting one, the one that's the coolest. You can see there's a little bit of an indicator of where she'll actually end up when the sig starts, and then we'll see it on hit here. It does end up reversing into the direction that you originally were. As you can tell, there's no hitbox on the first dash through. You saw right there. One of the Petras just went right through, and the other one ends up getting hit. So it only hits on the way back. So that's something interesting to note. Reminds me of Yumiko on her hammer side sig. When she's dashing, it doesn't hit. Only when she lands does it hit on both sides. So that sig, it seems very fast. It seems pretty hard to react to, but not sure about punishing it. Might be a little bit easy. Speaking of moves that might be a little easy to punish, you can tell this move does not hit on the ground, but in the air, it's this massive anti-air, just covering so much space. Looks like an energy volley straight out of Dragon Ball with that final blast. That animation is amazing, by the way. I think this is very strong. It hits about the same area as Diana Gun end sig, but obviously with a lot more active frames. It's about 1 to 1.5 jump heights. As you can see, does not hit grounded. And then the last time, Petra will jump into the other Petra's end sig, and you'll see that kind of locks you in there for a little while, and then the final blast. I'm worried it might drop if it hits on the corner, but that's something we'll have to wait and see till tomorrow when it comes out. And then here's the side sig. In my opinion, maybe her strongest sig. I think this sig is really, really good. As you can see, the orb is active, the little orb blast. It's active the whole way through. She actually throws her orb. I didn't even notice that. It's active the whole way through, which means that you can't run through it right as she throws it. and it's this long range projectile. She may not get a chase dodge after it. Most projectiles don't. So that might be something to note if you're trying to use it to recover. Maybe not. But again, we have yet to see. This is just an early analysis. And the longer you charge it, the further it goes, as you can see there. Alright, we got a snippet of the down sig. Here's the down sig, non-charged version. It looks pretty weak. She only jumps up a little a little bit. Seems pretty easy to punish. Hitbox doesn't seem very big. As you can see, there's about 2 character widths apart and it doesn't hit. But the non-charged version is not really why you want to be using it. It's the charged version right there. As you can see, it actually hit the moment the other Petra jumped up into the air. So that's pretty crazy. The explosion radius looks like it can hit a bunch of people, so in 2v2 this might be pretty useful. And guarding the lip of the stage is probably where this sig will shine. This reminds me of Ember Bow Down Sig, if Ember Bow Down Sig was like better in the air, if that makes sense. Ember Bow Down Sig isn't bad on the ground, it's got that explosion. You see the huge explosion of that orb down sig. But when it's used in the air, it has that tiny little hitbox, and you won't see it hit all the time. This reminds me of that sig a lot, but probably a lot better. Either way, this is just a quick early analysis. I'll have a full Legend first impression tomorrow, so make sure to check that out. It won't be out by noon. That's when all of my videos release. But I'm gonna have to, edit it, get all the footage, wait for the patch. So it'll probably be out later in the day. Make sure to stay tuned for that. And yeah. Also, make sure to check out the official dev stream. I don't have to say this. I feel kind of dirty taking their footage. So please make sure to check out the official devs, the official dev YouTube, everything like that. They work insanely hard. This Legend, the particle effects, everything about her is just really, really cool. I feel like meta-wise, she might not see a lot of play very early on, especially since Gauntlets just got nerfed. But she seems fun. I will probably play her a lot on this channel, just based off her sigs. She seems like a Dragon Ball character, so, I'm a fan. Anyway, see you tomorrow.